Hello and welcome from the main host tonight, Sarah, and Martin's here as well. And we're interviewing Clark tonight, and Clark French is from the UPA, and it's great for me to actually have Clark on because, as you all know, because I say it all the time, I'm the United Patients Alliance representative for Yorkshire, and I absolutely love working with the UPA. They're a great organisation, very welcoming. They made me feel at home and part of the group instantly. And so I'm really looking forward to this interview. It's absolutely great for me to be interviewing Clark and to have him on. So hello, Clark. Do you want to say hello to everyone?
Hi, Sarah. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, no, it's great to have you on. I just want really to for you to just explain to people how you began to realise about cannabis as a medicine. Could you just briefly tell the audience that, please?
Yeah, well, the first ever time that I ever saw cannabis work as a medicine was when I was about 7 years old. My stepfather had very severe MS, and he used to medicate with cannabis. I didn't really realise what it was at first. I didn't know that it was illegal or that it was a crime for him to do that, but I did notice that it made his life a lot better, a lot more livable. I did notice that, he'd come home from work, he'd have a smoke, and then he could actually hold a conversation for much longer and, be himself. But so as a child, I saw that it had medicinal benefits. I think the kind of government propaganda and scare stories kind of maybe got to me a bit in my teens after Richard unfortunately passed away. But then I started to get ill myself, and I would smoke cannabis occasionally with friends, I just realised that the times where I was consuming cannabis, that evening I wasn't having spasms in my legs and I was in a lot less pain. I thought, well, there's something going on here. So I did a lot more research and I looked into it and I looked at the scientific studies and, really tried my best to find out as much as I could about it. And I really realised that, hang on a minute, there's something here. So when it came to myself being diagnosed with MS when I was in 2010, I pretty much knew the course that I wanted to take because I'd done the research and I'd seen it help. A very close family member, so a parent, I knew that I needed to do something about it as well because MS is a very, very, very horrible disease. Like it's kind of shaped my whole life. Growing up with two parents with it and then getting it myself, like I didn't really get to have the childhood that a lot of children get. I'm not getting to have the adulthood that a lot of adults get either, purely because of MS. Cannabis helps me with that, and I know that it helps a lot of other people with that. So I felt like I had to stand up and I had to do something about it, and I felt inspired to try and change the law and to make a difference. And that's why I founded, as part of a group of 7 other patients, really, we founded the United Patients Alliance. And
all right, Clark, can I stop you there a minute? Because just purely because I want to ask you a series of questions and you're wrecking my order.
Oh, sorry.
You're all right. No, you're all right. I'm just very fussy, me. I want to just take you back a little bit, yeah. Because I want you to explain all about the UPA. I just want everyone to have a proper history of you and what drives you and everything first,
Yeah.
So you're saying that you use cannabis as a medicine for your condition. Can you explain to the listeners how you use cannabis, what methods of using the cannabis that you use, please?
Okay, so I like to use cannabis in as many different ways as possible. I find that vaporizing is a great way to ingest. I find that edibles are a great way to ingest too. And I like to smoke plant material as well, but I will smoke pure when I smoke. So I have a number of different ways of getting cannabinoids into my system. And I find that they all work and they all help. They all have their different places. Like eating it is great, but it doesn't take effect so easily and so quickly. So if I'm in a lot of pain, for example, I don't really want to eat it because it will be an hour until I'm not in pain anymore. I want to either vaporize it or smoke it. But at the same time, sometimes if you are vaporizing or smoking a day, it means that you can't do as much as you might otherwise be able to. So a very small dose of edibles can get you through the day. So there's a number of different ways that I like to consume cannabis, and I find it helps me in every way. I did, when I was first getting ill, I did take a lot of pharmaceutical medications, and I now don't take any of them at all because I consume cannabis instead.
Yeah, so that's brilliant to know, because I've seen videos of you. There's one video on YouTube, but I think it's quite an oldish one, and you've got spasms going on in your legs, you're struggling. But it only takes is that a pure spliff that you smoke in that video?
Yeah, it's a pure joint, and it's a matter of basically like inhaling a joint as quickly as possible, and the spasms stop. The tremors, like I get tremors and spasms at the same time. It was both happening then, and a joint made them stop. So yeah, or it's on video. You can watch it if you don't believe me. It's on YouTube. So yeah.
It's an amazing video. I shared it not long ago on the Sheffield Cannabis Club group and page, because it's an amazing video, and it shows how well cannabis does actually work for multiple sclerosis, because it is actually one of the main conditions that people do recognize that cannabis does work for, isn't it? A lot of people, when you say it works for cancer, they're like taken aback and they don't really necessarily believe you. But when you say multiple sclerosis, people they're a lot more open to that. And you've been campaigning in this area for quite a while as well, haven't you? Before the UPA, you've been campaigning for quite a while for cannabis. How long have you been doing that for?
Well, I was diagnosed in 2010 in August, and then by the January of 2011, I was an activist. So since 2011, since the very start of 2011, the first real speaking thing I did was I went to the Students for Sensible Drug Policy European conference and spoke there, and that was kind of my first step into activism properly. I started to write articles for websites and just try to get my story out there, and it all kind of flowed out from there, and it kind of I talk about this quite a lot, and people say, "Oh, how do you do it all? How do you do it all?" Well, how I do it all is because the medicine works. I'm able to give back because of what the medicine gives me. I wouldn't be able to do what I do if cannabis didn't help me, if cannabis didn't change my life, if cannabis was, not. It works, and I'm proof of that. And I think that if I can stand up and show people that, then I hope that they would also feel inspired to know that they can stand up and that they can make a difference, because I'm just a normal person. There's nothing special about me. I'm just a standard kind of guy, and I've made a decision to try and help this situation, which I feel passionately about, and I feel like I've been able to do that through the work and through that I've done and through the EPA. It gives me a reason to live again. MS took away so much from me. Like I'm not the same person that I used to be. I physically can't be the same person that I used to be, because I used to be in a metal band, like running all over the stage, jumping on things and going a bit crazy kind of thing. There's just no way that I can do that anymore. But what I can do is share my story and hopefully provide a platform. Well, no, not hopefully, and provide a platform for other patients to do the same. And we've built a community and a family, and the UPA is, far beyond my wildest expectations. We've not even been around a year yet, and we've got hundreds of people involved. Hundreds of people want to get, even more want to get involved, and we're doing really well. I'm really pleased and really proud of what we've been achieving.
All right, then we'll go to the start of that now then, yeah, Clark, yeah, because I cut you short beforehand, yeah. So basically, you got diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. You became an activist almost straight away because you firsthand felt the benefits, and it works, and what a difference it makes in your life. I just want to ask you one more question first before we go on to the UPA thing. How much a year do you save the NHS by using cannabis as a medicine, please?
Okay, so there was 11 different drugs that I would be prescribed, or that I am prescribed, and that I would be taking now if it wasn't for cannabis. And the most expensive of them is called Tysabri and costs £21,000 a year. All of the others are nowhere near as expensive, but all add up to around, I'm saving the NHS around just over £30,000 a year.
Wow, that's an amazing amount of money, and you're not the only person with multiple sclerosis that chooses to use cannabis instead. So really, the amount of money that is being saved by people like yourself who are using their own initiative and actually standing there and being very courageous, I must say, because it is a very courageous thing that you're doing. You are standing strong and taking the medicine and getting the medicine that you know will be right for you, that you know helps and improves your condition. You're doing what is morally right, even though it's not legally right. You know, and I've got a lot of respect for you for that, and anyone else that's in your position, because it is a stressful position to be in, not being very well. You know, I've got mental health issues. You know, I suffer from depression, which isn't obviously the same. And I know you get depressed as well. You suffer from depression, but it can be pretty crippling, really, to be in those situations sometimes. You know, and I know you get depressed as well, and to actually stand up and do what you do is absolutely amazing. I really do take my hat off to you. So you started the UPA, like you just said, nearly a year ago now. So how did that all come about then? Can you explain to us how the UPA all came about?
Well, I moved down to Brighton to start the Brighton Cannabis Club, and that was going really well. And we did an event called, it ends up that it was the first ever Patient Perspectives event, and we had 7 or 8 of us talking, and it was kind of in the way that we do the Patient Perspectives event now for the UPA, and it just went so well, and it was so kind of, it just felt right, and it just felt like, okay, this is what we should be focusing on, or this is what I should be doing, because this is the message which is getting across, and this is actually, you know, there's people in this room that their minds have just been changed by this. So, okay. So then the group of patients that all spoke at that first ever Patients Perspectives, Mike Cutler, Chris Baldwin, myself, Kieran Reeves, Asa, and Lee. And yeah, the 7 of us just decided that that's what we wanted to do. So we spoke to a few other patients and a few other friends, and we said, you know, let's start a new organisation. Let's not just focus on Brighton. Let's go national. So we did that, and we spoke to Caroline Lucas about it, and she was really in support, and she wanted to come and speak for us at our launch night. So yeah, she did, and Professor David Nutt also. We contacted him and told him what we were doing, and he was really interested in coming down to speak at it. So we did it, and we got Jason Reed from Law Enforcement Against Prohibition. And we had our launch night, 17th of July, 2014. It was a really hot, sticky summer's evening, and the room was absolutely full and jam packed full of people. It was such a amazing, fantastic, like inspiring moment, because patient after patient after patient getting up and saying, "I am a medical cannabis patient, and cannabis helps me with this." You know, so much of a range of conditions, like myself with MS, but people with Parkinson's, people with diabetes, people with cancer, people with epilepsy, and with even just, you know, people who had back pain, people who had anxiety and depression, people who, you know, the list of illnesses was incredible. And yeah, it was just an inspiring night, and we knew that night that, you know, this is something special. We've really got something here. We've really got, you know, a brand. We've really got a message, and we've really got something that can get to the masses more. So, you know, we just carried on with that, and we, you know, in the first year, we've been in all of the national newspapers. We've been in most of the national TV programs, and we've been on loads of radios. We've been on, you know, local radios, local newspapers, internet radios, all sorts of things. We've done as much as we can, and it's great to be a part of something bigger than just me. That's what I love about the EPA so much, is that the times where I'm ill and the times where I actually don't have the energy to carry on, and I need a little bit of a break, like, I know that the United Patients Alliance, they've got my back as well, and that everything is going to carry on, everything's going to still be happening, and that I don't need to worry. And that is a beautiful feeling, and I want to thank every single person that helps in the EPA, because without you, it wouldn't be possible. So, yeah, if anyone wants to get involved, if anyone thinks that they want to stand up and they want to make a change, then get involved. Not necessarily with the UPA. There's loads of organisations that are out there and are doing a lot of work. So maybe the UPA isn't the right one for you. Maybe the other ones are. I don't know. But get involved either way. Come find us on our website and go check out the UK CSCs and Normal UK and Law Enforcement Against Prohibition and I don't even know. There's so many now. It's actually really great to see.
Yeah, the website, for anyone wanting to know what the United Patients Alliance website is, it's www.upalliance.org. So that's www.upalliance.org. You can check out the website. We've also got a Facebook group page. We've got a United Patients Alliance discussion group as well, which is a great group. It's very interactive, that group. It's has loads of people posting in there, lots of people offering advice, lots of people sharing their experiences. You know, the UPA really has developed a massive community because you basically reach people where nobody really reached people before. You know, and one of the things that I really loved, like the first event that I went to was in Reading, and I just loved how nice everyone was, how friendly everyone was, how accepting everyone was, and just the relief from people seemed relieved to get up there and tell their story. People are relieved to find other people in the same situation as them, you know, rather than sitting in their houses smoking cannabis on their own, knowing that it's helping their condition. But I suppose a lot of people don't really want to tell anyone in case they think that they're drug users or drug abusers, you know. So it's amazing what the UPA has achieved in such a short period of time. And I can understand why, from being to all those events and seeing people and, you know, meeting people and everything. It's amazing. It really is amazing, isn't it? Just seeing everyone's faces. And
it's like therapy in a way, because, you know, being a medical cannabis patient in this land of prohibition, you know, you are stigmatized, you are marginalized, you are pushed to the edge of society, you are told that you're a liar, basically. You're told you're a liar when you know that this is helping you, when you know that the pain that you're in or the spasms or the you know, even in your head, if you're not feeling great and it can calm you and ground you, you know that and you feel that, but your government tells you that you're a liar. That's not a good feeling. That's not a nice place to be in. And a lot of people suffer, a lot of people struggle with that, and it causes untold mental health problems for people that already have enough issues. And what the UPA does is it gives everyone a platform to actually come together and to say, do you know what? This happened to me. This happened to me, and I'm not happy about it. I want a better life than what is out there, and that's what the UPA gives people. It gives people that little bit of hope that, hang on a minute, whoa, I'm not in this on my own anymore. There's a group of us here together. We're a family now, and we can do this. We can fight this. We can stand up for what we believe in. We can be proud. That's the I think the key message of the UPA, and that's our next campaign that we're launching, is Cannabis Proud, because I'm really proud to be a medical cannabis patient. I'm proud that I found a better life. I'm proud that I save the NHS, you know, £30,000 a year. And I'm proud of the fact that so many people are involved in this. And I'm proud of all of you and of myself. And, you know, in 2010, I didn't know if I was going to be able to do this. I didn't know if I still wanted to even be alive anymore. But now I know that I have a purpose, and I think that's what the UPA gives me, and I think that's what the UPA gives so many other people. It gives us a purpose. It gives us a reason to get up in the morning. It gives us a reason to keep fighting. It gives us that hope that actually one day things will change, and we're in this together, and we will win this. It might take, I don't know how long it's going to take. I could not tell you how long that it's going to take. I know it's going to be a long battle, and I know that it's going to be hard fought. And all I can say is that I'm just going to do what I can, and I hope that by doing what I can help to inspire other people to realise that they can do what they can. And if everyone does what they can, we'll get there. So, yeah, I think if we just keep fighting, we will get there. So the UPA is just an organisation where we help each other. We are a family, and I'm proud to be part of that family.
Yeah, I am as well. I'm really proud to be part of the UPA. I'm actually loving all the work that I've been doing with you, and I'm really grateful for the opportunity. And so, thank you as well, Clark. Really, honestly, thank you. So,
Well,
what
Sarah,
is?
you should be a little bit more proud of yourself as well, because you take the bull by the horns and you just go for it. So, like, credit where credit's due. You do an amazing job. So, thank you for being involved too.
I do what I can do. What would you say then is the main goal of the UPA?
I think we have several goals. I think what I was just talking about. I think we didn't really realise this until sooner. But actually, a lot of what we do and a lot of our goal is to be that support for people, to help people to get over hard times, to provide that platform to get it out, because that saying, a problem shared is a problem halved. Well, if you're sharing your problem with a room full of 50 to 100 people, that problem is divided so many times that just lifts that weight off your shoulders. So yeah, I've slowly realised that actually our main thing what we do is support each other and support the people going for it. But of course, as an organisation, and what we really, really want to see is legal access to medical cannabis for adults and for children as well. We don't think that prohibition works at all. We are in favour of harm reduction, and we're in favour of evidence-based policy. And we feel like if we are able to stand up and tell our stories, we can help to achieve that and help put pressure on the government to change the laws. So, yeah, it's to support each other and to ultimately change the law.
Yeah, and that's what I always say. I love the fact that it just gives everyone a voice, doesn't it? The UPA. That's what I really like about it. It's given me a voice to say about my conditions, and my conditions are nowhere near as serious as a lot of conditions. But everyone's conditions are just as important to them as anyone else's in a lot of ways. So everyone deserves to have a platform to speak on. So yeah, it's great. It's great the work that you've achieved and we've all achieved. So, one of the other things that I like about the UPA is it seems to be bringing a lot of groups together, because you work with a lot of other groups, don't you?
Yeah.
You work a bit with Normal, with Leap, the Women's Alliance. Well,
Yeah.
we're doing an event with the Women's Alliance on July the 18th. Is that the next event that we've got?
No, we're at it's the next. We've got patient perspectives at Product Earth as well, so we're doing that on the 28th of June.
Yeah, June. Yeah.
And yeah, we've got a few other things coming up, different various admin meetings. I think we're in a bit of a phase where we've just done a lot of different events, and yeah, so we're kind of planning our next events and planning what we're going to do. There's going to be a Brighton meeting, a Brighton patient perspective soon, which we're just in the process of planning that. I believe you've got another event planned soon, haven't you?
Yeah, my event that I've got planned is it's not mine. It's the Yorkshire section. It's the United Patients Alliance Patients Perspective in Hebden Bridge. It's at the Trades Club, which is a very famous venue. And the Trades Club have been really, really nice to us and let us have the venue for free. Which is great, because I said, it's a world famous venue. So I was quite surprised when I asked them. I thought we'd be cheeky, and Sean asked, and they said yes. So it was great. You've got to be in it to win it, though, haven't you? So yeah. With the events, I'm on the events page now. So on the United Patients Alliance, we have got an events page on the page. There's the SACC meetings and Great Summer Picnics on Saturday, and that's not actually the UPA, but there's going to be a lot of UPA people. And like I said, the UPA works very closely with a lot of other groups, and that's going to be in Primrose Hill in the London Borough of Camden, and that's starting at 1:00. So that's the 13th of June. So if anyone's in the area, that'd be really worth getting down to. And then, like you said,
a couple of UPA members are definitely speaking there. I know that Jake Barrow, he's definitely going down. He's definitely going to be telling his story as a medical cannabis patient. So that's definitely one to go to.
Yeah, and then like you said, there's a couple of admin meetings. On the 16th of June, we've got the Yorkshire admin meeting. That's in the Friends Meeting House. And on the 24th of June, we've got the UPA South East admin meeting, and that's in the Brighton Friends Meeting House. And both of those events start at 7 o'clock. And it's a really great way to get involved in your local area, really. And this is another thing that I love about the UPA. It gets, because I don't go out a lot because I do get agoraphobia. And so you wouldn't believe it, but because I do get out, but I don't get out a lot. And the UPA's helped me to get out a lot more. It's so getting out and getting involved in my local community and getting to meet people and everything. It's been a great experience for me. And I do know that a few other members of the Yorkshire feel exactly the same way. They didn't necessarily get out very much. And it gives people confidence, doesn't it? It's like you say, you meeting like-minded people, meeting people that use cannabis as a medicine and not just thinking that it's you sat there in your house on your own. Really does make a massive, massive difference, really, doesn't it?
It really does. It really does. It's always inspiring to see that when someone comes to an event and they're unsure about speaking, and then they kind of wait until the end, and then they hear everyone else getting up and they see them telling their stories, and they relate to that story, and they go, "Oh, actually, maybe I could tell my story here." And then you just see that kind of bright light hit their eyes, and they go, "Oh, everyone's the same as me here. I can tell my story, and everyone will accept me." And then people stand up and they tell their stories for the first time, and people do empathise and people understand where they're coming from, and yeah, that's just a beautiful thing. It really is. It really is. Like, to provide that for people is makes life worth it, completely worth it.
And another thing that I find amazing about the events as well is that people who aren't really open to cannabis, like some of people's family, you might have one person who say, yeah, cannabis works as a medicine, and then their family members go with them and they're skeptical. And then by the end of it, they're like, oh my God, I can't believe it. That's amazing. Cannabis is amazing. I never thought it would be capable of helping with all of these conditions. The amazement and pure shock on people's faces, and just the doors that are opening to them is just phenomenal. Really, the amount of people that are being assisted by these events is absolutely phenomenal. The amount of people who are suffering needlessly that needn't be suffering, especially from things like cancer, and that are coming to events like this and actually then going out and sorting themselves out is amazing. These events are actually helping to save people's lives, really, aren't they? It's amazing.
There was one lady, and it really sticks in my mind. It was in Liverpool. Liverpool event was one of our most successful yet. We had hundreds of people there. It was a great night, and one lady, she was clearly quite nervous. She was clearly a bit tearful, a bit, not sure whether she wanted to do it or not. But she got up and she said, "You know what? I have a lot of problems, and I've had a joint. I've had it just stashed in my top drawer, and I haven't tried it because I've been too scared." And well, I know she went home and she tried it. So just that in itself, that again was just a moment which will always stick in my mind of, oh, hang on a minute, this is actually making a difference to people's lives.
I remember exactly who you're talking about, and she needed a lot of reassuring, didn't she? Because of all this reefer madness, because of all this fear mongering that's been going on for so long. Not everyone, not every time I smoke a pipe am I happy afterwards. Sometimes it does send me, I feel a bit funny, and I think, oh God, what did I do that for? And then I'll have another one and then I'll be all right. I do get a little bit sketched out every now and again, but, none of this reefer madness kind of thing. And this reefer madness does scare a lot of people off. And smoking cannabis recreationally isn't for everybody, we are aware of that. But the UPA and the work that we're all doing is not about sitting around smoking for pleasure. This is about using cannabis as a medicine, and this is about highlighting the actual amazing health benefits that cannabis has. People have endocannabinoid deficiency, and this is causing major problems within their system, their homeostasis, which regulates their bodies and all your body systems. Homeostasis keeps everything going and everything functioning, from your hormones to your body temperature, and once all this goes out of balance, you're struggling, one way or another, you're struggling, and then disease starts settling in and setting in, so cannabis is an amazing preventative medicine as well, and as well as a natural medicine for once people have got ill. We need cannabinoids. It should be part of our diet, really. Cannabis salads, cannabis ice pops. The list goes on. One of the things that I love about the Women's Alliance, Normal Women's Alliance that I work for, is that we're actually going to have lots of bake-offs. So that's going to be great. I'm looking forward to that. So there's loads of different ways to have cannabis, and it is about.
Make sure you make some vegan cakes, yeah.
Vegan cakes.
Yeah, because I'm vegan, so I want to try some of your bake-off cakes, but they must be vegan.
I could give it a go. Somebody else was saying egg. My friend Becky, she doesn't like eggs. Well, she can't eat eggs as well. So yeah, I'll make a vegan one so you and Becky can share a cake. Martin's just got a one in. Do you want to say something quickly, Martin?
Yes. My first meeting, Clark, I met you at Liverpool. I went to that because I'm one of Sarah's patients, and she's done wonders for me. And that was the first time I ever went to a meeting, and I brought my wife and daughter along. Yeah. And it's because they were doubtful about the cannabis, but they came away with a different view when they heard you speak and other people speak. It was fantastic to listen to them, and it has helped me. I couldn't tell you, it's changed my life completely. I only started on the cannabis through Sarah's help, and I used to be able to sit down because I had a massive growth in the testicles, and it's reduced nearly by half since we started being a patient of Sarah's, and she's done wonders for me. That's helped my life completely change. I'm not the best of patients, as Sarah will tell you, but it does work, and I'm living proof of that. And it has changed my life a heck of a lot. I still have a lot of up and downs, nothing to do with the cannabis or the treatment. It's just the position I'm in at the moment, fighting so many battles. But fair play to you. Your show in Liverpool was brilliant, and it's the first time I got up and spoke down there. And I don't know if you remember. I could only.
Yeah, I remember.
Do you remember with the comic thing? And I tried to get it across and relax people, but I'm ever so grateful for you and for everything that Sarah is doing, and not forgetting Bob. I see you, Bob. Wake up. And I'm proof, and I will be attending the meetings with Sarah, and I will be more open and will speak out on how good it's been to me.
That's good to hear.
And it will come out. I'm in the middle of another book, and I brought a chapter in on cannabis, and they can hike it or pike it, but it's going to be printed on what it's done for me, how it's changed my life. What the doctors couldn't do. My life was miserable because I couldn't sit down because the growth was so big, and it was painful. It's reduced, and the pain is gone, and it just terrific. And more people, we should be on the rooftops shouting. It's goodness, to be honest with you. But I owe Sarah so much for being so patient with me, because I'm not the best of patients, as she will tell you. But I look forward to going to some other your meetings. So
I look forward to seeing you there.
Yes, and I listened to your story, and it's very inspiring, and it helped a lot of people, to know what you've gone through. We thought our problems, but your problems was greater than ours, or greater than mine. And I respect you for what you're doing, and fair play to you. Keep up the good work.
Thank you. Thank you.
Over to you, Sarah.
All right, thank you, Martin. Yes, you are. You're my worst patient, Martin. I love you, though, so it's okay. I'll put up with it. The other Martin, did you want to say something, other Martin, or was you going to ask the same question that I'm going to ask in a bit?
I did want to just say hello to everyone and introduce myself to Clark. Hi, Clark.
Hi, Martin.
How you doing?
Yeah, good, thanks.
Good. Yeah, just carry on, Sarah. Sorry, I just want to say hello.
Yeah, well, Martin's normally the main host on this show, so yeah. Have you lost any? This is a bit of a downer now, but I've lost friends since I've started doing this cannabis campaigning. Have you?
Yes, I have. One of the founding members of the EPA, Mike Cutler, we lost him a few months after the EPA was launched. So that was really difficult. And to be honest with you, unfortunately, the reality is that we will probably lose more friends along the way and along this journey of what we're doing. But you know, Mike's story and Mike's untimely passing away just goes to give me more courage and more fire in my belly that I have to speak out, and that I hope that other people feel the same way, because we don't, let's hope in the future. Well, let's not let hope, but the sooner that we all get involved, the sooner that people stand up and actually be heard and actually get their voices heard and take to the streets and do what they can for this cause, the sooner that we'll stop losing more people. But we do lose people along the way, and it is difficult. It is difficult.
Can I just butt in a minute, Clark? I told my doctor a week ago that I was using cannabis.
Yeah.
And he said, which shocked me really, he said he knows it helps, but he cannot speak public on it.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people, and then when I was leaving, the nurse told me that she suffers from rheumatism, and she also uses it. So why doesn't people who are getting help from it speak out? The doctors know it works. What's stopping them from speaking out?
It's because cannabis is currently listed as a Schedule 1 drug. So it's said to have no known medicinal benefits. So even if they do speak out about it, they're technically speaking out against the rules. And if you do that, then you could potentially lose your job. And they don't want to lose their job, so therefore they don't speak out about it. I've had my neurologist, I've had my MS nurse, I've had my doctor, I've had, loads of healthcare professionals tell me, yeah, carry on doing it, just carry on. But none of them will actually put that in writing, but they'll tell me it off the record. So, it is about starting to persuade them, and that's again another focus of what the EPA is going to be doing in the rest of the year. Is we have a new leaflet coming out about the endocannabinoid system, specifically targeted at healthcare professionals, because most of them haven't even heard of the endocannabinoid system. You can believe it, but they haven't. So we really need to take it upon ourselves to educate the healthcare professionals about it, because they're not going to be taught it from above. They're not going to be taught it by their teachers. So we'll have to teach them it ourselves. So that's what the next plan is to do. And if anyone wants to do that, I think it's really, really important to start educating healthcare professionals. Not all of them will like it, but the ones that are in it for the right reasons, they'll see sense. And as soon as enough of them do, maybe they'll speak out a bit more. So it's all a process, and it's all happening, but it's going to take time to get where we need to go.
Can I just come in here for a moment?
Yeah, of course.
In terms of healthcare professionals, I've been looking at the Cancer Act this week of 1939. Have you been introduced to the Cancer Act, Clark?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
Indeed. So they're not allowed to say anything because it's against
Yeah, that's right. So that's one of the challenges that a lot of healthcare professionals face is legislation such as that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not easy. It's not an easy position for somebody to be in. They do train for a long time, and I'd say the majority of them are in it for the right reason. The endocannabinoid system was only discovered in the last 20 years, so it's relatively new in the science kind of world. So, and also the ability for the scientists to actually get licenses to study cannabis is pretty restricted, really, which is another reason. So, they're up against it themselves. They're up against the battle themselves, and doctors who I've spoken to about it, who I know as friends, have actually sat down and listened to me and have decided to do their own research. My doctor's not necessarily so open about it.
I was just going to say, the one reason I feel that they're frightened of cannabis, and this is when I had a talk with the doctor. He said, think of the trillions all over the world, the money that's gone into fighting cancer. If they openly declare that cannabis is a help, that money would stop. And this is why they're so against coming out and saying, oh yes, cannabis does work, because they will lose millions and millions and millions all over the world. So, they know cannabis works, but it's money again that they don't want to lose. So people like you, Clark, have to still start fighting and let everyone know that it does help.
We haven't got very long left. I just wanted to ask you quickly, Clark. Right? Just what are your favourite strains for your condition? I know it's a bit off subject, but
that is a difficult question. It's not off subject. I think it's completely on subject. We're talking about medical cannabis, and
yeah,
so we're talking about strains. I realised that actually THC is my main form of medication, so I need THC dominant strains to help me with pain, to help me with my spasms, and to basically mean I keep my bladder and don't wet myself all the time. But I need CBD for kind of long-term survival. So I like to have a mixture of strains if possible, some 1-to-1 THC CBD and some high in THC. Some of the strains that I like in terms of 1-to-1 CBD to THC ratios, Skunk Haze is really good, 3BD is really good, and CBD Kush as well. I like that. In terms of high THC, I quite like quite a lot of Kush. I like the flavours of OG Kush and things like that. And then I prefer probably indica dominant to sativa dominant, but I think both are essential. So I like to have a balance of basically as much as I can get. I will try and get into me. So that's how it works. I think it's more important that it's grown well by someone who knows what they're doing than specifically what strain it is. So I think that's far more important, because if you get a strain that's particularly good but it's grown by someone who doesn't know what they're doing at all, it's not going to come out well. But whereas if you get a strain that's maybe not so great, but someone who really knows what they're doing, they can make that strain come out well. So the combination of good genetics and good growers mean you get the best quality medicine at the end of it. So yeah, I would say the thing to take from it is that everyone is different. So what works for me might not necessarily be right for someone else. But you've got to kind of, it's a lot about trial and error and finding out which strains work for you specifically, because depending on your symptoms and depending on your condition, maybe a certain strain will be good for you and maybe a certain strain won't be good for you. Like, for example, someone who had schizophrenia, I probably wouldn't say they should be smoking some 22% THC, 0% CBD strain all the time. That probably wouldn't do them the best of good. However, if they were smoking a high CBD strain a lot of the time, and we know that CBD is an antipsychotic, that's probably going to be really good for them. So, it really depends on what you're suffering from. It really depends on your condition and your symptoms, and you've got to work it out yourself, really, to be honest.
Yeah, I know somebody went over to Amsterdam and took £2,000 or something with them and tried out loads of different strains and found the best ones for their condition, because it does take a bit of research, this. I don't, not saying that that's how you have to do it, but it does take a lot of research. It does take research if you're not very well to find ones that are going to end spasms, that are going to stop cramps. Ones that are going to help you sleep, like indica strains. You don't want like a high THC and no CBD strains if you're trying to struggle to get to sleep. You want something with a lot of CBN in it, really. A high indica strain. I talking about those cushies, I just have to mention this. I had some pineapple kush the other day. Oh my God. I could smell the pineapples in this pineapple kush. I've still got a tiny bit of it left. It's absolutely beautiful, and it smells of pineapples.
I know, it's unbelievable when you actually get that, and you're like, "What? That's actually pineapples? How is that in cannabis? Huh? What?" But yeah, it's amazing all the different terpenes and flavonoids, and how many different just flavors and different smells and aromas that the plant can have. It's really, really versatile. There's something for everyone, really.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's amazing. I really do. Like I said, sometimes I get a bit sketchy, but I love smoking cannabis. It really does help me on a long-term basis. With my anxiety, I find eating oil actually helps me better than smoking. But I get quite a lot of nausea sometimes, especially if I'm stressed. If I'm stressed out, I get stomach cramps and nausea. I suppose maybe like a mild IBS or something. And I find smoking is the only thing that really helps with that. So, you know, it is about discovering what works for you and what works best for your conditions and stuff like that. I did want to ask you a few more questions and that, but we've only got 4 minutes left, so maybe you can come on another time and I can ask you, because you've been to America as well. We've only got 4 minutes. You've been to America and you've seen what it's like over there and what it can be like. Can you just sort of touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, please? Of course. The main thing that got me into activism was that I went to America in 2011 and took a 2-month course of cannabis oil and came back not needing my walking stick for a year. So it really made a massive difference in my life. I got to see the industry. I got to meet people that work in it, immerse myself in the cannabis world of California and Colorado. And yeah, I was shocked and amazed by what I found. And I knew that I had to bring a lot of that back here. I mean, one of the main things that the EPA puts out there is the cannabinoid table. And that's one of the things that I found out in California. I knew that I had to bring this back because it was so easy to read and it made so much sense. And it kind of just blew my mind. I was like, wow, people need to see this where I'm from. So I took what I could, came back and, tried and then applied it to the UK. So it was an incredible experience.
Yeah, the cannabinoids are all the different components that make up the cannabis plant that aren't found anywhere else, aren't they? You know, like THC, CBD, and they've all got different medicinal properties. And that's one of the other things that makes the whole plant extract so amazing, isn't it? You know, is that it has got so many different properties. You know, it's got an appetite stimulant and an appetite repressor. It's just... Yeah. So it's amazing, absolutely amazing. But we've only got a couple of minutes left anyway. So I just want to remind everyone that we've got a few events coming up soon for the UPA. Like we've got the one on Saturday in Primrose Hill with the students, room with the students, and then we've got the admin meetings. That's a great way of getting involved, is to get down to the admin meetings. Keep an eye and see if there's one in your local area. Eventually, we want a UPA set up in every single county, so for every single region. We're slowly working our way up north, and we're going to be organising some events in the northeast soon, probably around about September, October time, from what I can gather. I'll be helping out with that because I'm the nearest there. So there's loads of great things coming on, and so so thank you everyone. Clark, do you want to say goodbye quickly? You've got 90 seconds, and then everyone else can. Thanks for having me on. And yeah, goodbye everyone. I'm sure I will catch up with you guys soon.
Sarah, you'll have to try and get him on again. I'd like to hear more about his American trip. So please try and get him back on soon.
Oh yeah, I'm up for coming back on.
Thanks for coming on, Clark. We've got to get you back on.
Yes, 100%.
But yeah, it's been a great show. So we'll be organising another one to have Clark back on, and then we can hear more about his time over in America, and also about the oil treatment that he did as well, because the oil treatment was absolutely amazing. The results that Clark got from the oil treatment. So we can ask him a bit more about that, and if anyone else wants us to ask any more questions for him, just let us know and we can put them forward to him as well. So thank you all very much for tuning in, and we'll see you next week, where we should have another great guest coming on.